Hello everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to speak at your IODE annual meeting. I wanted to thank you all for awarding me this year's IODE Police Community Relations Award. It means a lot to me to have my work outside of my profession recognized, and I truly believe that our core values of the OPP need to be demonstrated not only while we work, but off duty as well. I began community service at a very young age. I grew up in a Rotary Exchange home, constantly learning about new cultures and countries, and in turn would teach international students about my experience living in Canada. Growing up in this environment meant that if I wasn't playing hockey, I was doing anything from volunteering at hamper nights, creating food boxes for low-income households, to dressing up as the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz to raise funds at a gala for our local hospital. Community service and recognizing the needs of the community was something ingrained in me from a very young age, and is something that I hope to now pass along to my own children. Locally, our community was missing an organization for young people to give back. This was how North Simcoe Rotaract Club was created. I'm very grateful to be a founding member of this club and next term's president. Through Rotaract, I've been able to raise over $120,000 through self-created events, with all funds going back into this community. What I find the most meaningful is being able to continually assess the needs of the community and from there create projects to meet those needs. Youth mental health was a priority of our club, so we took over March Madness, a massive outdoor obstacle course that raised over $50,000 for youth mental health initiatives the first year it was run. Yearly, we run a cardboard toboggan race during Winterama, an affordable way for youth to get creative and active regardless of household income. During COVID, our club really reflected on marginalized populations that weren't being represented. From this, we created a BIPOC book donation to our local libraries. Food poverty, like everywhere, is a massive project. This is where Trick or Eat was created, where instead of handing out or collecting candy on Halloween, I'd go around collecting food donations for our local food banks. Every event is to address a different community need, and that's why I love being a founding member. On top of volunteering with Rotaract, I dedicate time on my days off to be a peer mentor at the local high school's equity club. This was something my schools were missing growing up that I wish that I had. Positive representation is so important, especially in small communities, and this has created opportunities for me to do guest speakings at other youth events. As I grew older, I found myself gravitating towards certain projects that I felt a personal connection with. Community service needs to come from a place in your heart that recognizes that something needs to change. That closeness is what motivates me. That feeling that I really can make a difference, and knowing that my actions have the capability of changing someone's life for the better. Coincidentally, that's also what drew me into a career of policing. That need to make a difference and give back to the community that raised me. Very early in my career, my wife and I lost our daughter Nora while she was admitted in the NICU a month after she was born. It was hands down the hardest thing my family and I have ever gone through, and still to this day is something I carry with me. Like all parents, you want your kids to be proud of you, and losing Nora increased that pressure for me, which is why a lot of my community service projects center around pregnancy and infant loss. Everything I do to make her proud. Nora's Nook was created in honor of my little one. It's a bookshelf in the shape of a dollhouse for parents to grab a book and read to their babies while in the NICU. Currently, I have one set up at RVH and one at Wyville Public School, where Nora would have started this past fall. We collect new books every year for her birthday. Additionally to this, I volunteered at a newer organization called Pillow to work collaboratively on how victim services could approach follow-up requests for service around loss and bring information learned from this committee back to my OPP detachment. One of the families I met on this journey runs an organization called Bridget's Bunnies. They create comfort kits for families that just experienced a loss, and if we circle back to Rotaract, I had the pleasure of creating a board game coffee house night to raise money for these kits that have now been integrated into our local hospital and paramedic services. I've been very fortunate to take these community relationships that I've built through volunteering and use that knowledge to offer additional resources from the front line. I truly believe that to be the best officer, you have to be well-rounded, and community service plays a huge role in that. With that, I will leave you with this. We are what we repetitively do. Excellence, then, is not an action, but a habit. Thank you again, everyone, for having me, and please continue to do great things.